Hello everyone, today I have great pleasure to speak with Nalleli. She's from San Diego and she's a business owner and she's also working for the Cali Wink. Hi Nalleli, it's a great pleasure to have you in our group.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the invite. I appreciate your time.
So please share a little bit more about your story and how you become business owner and how you start this Cali Wink business. Let us know more.
So Cali Wink started, well, let me tell you the backstory because it's really special the way it started. I was raised in a family where values are really, really important. One of the values that my parents taught me was giving back to the community. And through the whole process of this, my father had always had a calling for doing missionary work. And in this process, since my father had a job, my father didn't want it to do take on the responsibility because doing this work, it was just taken away from the job and just knowing that it was going to have a lot of responsibility behind. In the year 2012, I always think that everything happens for a reason, whether it's good or bad. And in the year 2012, my father had a stroke. This affected the side of his brain. And in his bed, as we were praying for a miracle to happen, and he was laying in his bed, I remember the pastor of the church that we attended came by and we prayed for him and for a miracle to happen. And the pastor came and told my dad, "You have a calling." The next following day, the doctors could not explain why this man that just had a stroke was just a walking miracle. And in that moment, my dad decided, you know what? Forget this life. My kids are grown. He packed whatever he had. He grabbed his wife, his little money savings, and he went back home to a little town called Chiapas in Mexico. It's right in the border of Guatemala. And they started building a church and doing what missionary attend to, whether it's helping people. I knew that his savings were not always going to last. And my father went to do this missionary work by his own. There is no big organization behind it. There's no one funding him. And I remember calling him and talking to him and, "Hey, Dad, how's everything going?" And in that conversation that I had with my dad, he kind of broke down. And he said, "Nelly, I am running out of funds." And I felt it felt so heavy to see your father, who had his commodities back here in San Diego, who had everything, to go back home and saying these words to me. I remember driving and I just started talking to myself and talking to God, you know? And I was like, give me an idea. Give me an idea so that we could continue helping these families, you know? Back home, there's a lot of need of people having the essentials, food. A church needs a lot of things that acquire. And I just remember in my car, I said, I know, and I trust that if my parents have a calling, you're going to give me an idea. And I remember I just left it at that. I drove to work. I was driving in the morning to work. And weeks passed and I had an event and I started doing my makeup. And as I was doing my makeup, a little voice said, "Lashes." And that's the beginning of how Cali Wink started. Whatever we make, now it's been 2 years. we started with 12 styles. I remember when this whole project started, it required a lot of sitting down and doing the research because it was just me. I don't have a team. It's just me. And I didn't even tell my husband because I wanted to prepare myself to drop the bomb on him, what I was going to do. And I remember when I did the whole research and what it acquired, how to build it from scratch, because also I was scared because I don't have any following, Nowadays I had to understand how important is social media. And I was not social in that part. I'm just a mom in San Diego, 9 to 5. And I remember I had to do all that research. And when I was ready, I remember dropping the bomb and saying, Joey, we're going to start a business. And whatever we make from this business, we're going to send it back home to the missionary. And we're going to feed families with essential groceries. And ever since, that's what Cali Wink is about. I am so proud to know that in 2 years, we started with 10 bags of food that we sent out. Last weekend, my mother sent me another pictures and said, Nelly, this time we were able to do 3 times as much, 30 bags of food. So that's what basically Cali Wink is about. It's a company that started from continuing that value that my father and mother taught me. It was giving back. And the fact that I could still do that and show my kids, because, my kids in San Diego, they're spoiled. They have everything. And we had a trip going back home, and to know that this is what Cali Wink does and they know what we do, it's amazing. And that's the story behind Cali Wink.
That's a beautiful story. Thank you, Nalleli, for sharing the story. And can you explain a little bit more about how you come up with this name, Cali Wink, and philosophy of the brand?
So when the name of Cali Wink started, I was like, okay, I don't want. I have researched the beauty industry, and many of these beauty industry is like makeup by so and so, makeup by so and so, and I was like, I don't want it to be linked to me. That was the first initial thing. I don't want it to be linked to me, because if it fails, then they will not know that it belonged to me. So I remember I'm like, we have to give it its own identity. I don't want to be linked to it in somewhat. And I remember sitting down with my husband Joey, and I'm like, okay, I'm from California. I'm not born here, but I've been raised here all my life. And I'm like, California is a beautiful place, beautiful. We're blessed with a beautiful weather. So I already knew in the beginning it had to start with something with California. So I remember sitting in the kitchen after I had bring this bomb to my husband and say, hey, we're going to build the business. And I still remember his face. He's like, I think that I have been blessed with a good partner, because I could see if I was afraid, he was 10 times more afraid than I was. But he just supported me, with his crazy wife and this idea. I could say, okay. So I remember sitting in the kitchen table, and I'm like, okay, Joseph, we need to come with the name now. And I said, I know we have to be Cali. And we're like, okay, so what are we selling? Well, we're going to start with lashes, but I know this is going to be much more. So he's like, we're kind of going over a list and writing things down. And he's like, what about Wink? And I'm like, nah, wait a minute, Cali, Wink. And it just kind of blend together. And that's how we named it. And I'm like, all right, Cali Wink, it has a good ring to it. I remember looking in social media if anybody had the name, because I didn't want it to get in trouble. So I'm like, yeah, nobody has that. It does not exist. Okay, it has a good ring to it. And that's how we got the name. Yep.
Great name. I really like it. California and Cali Wink. Yeah, it's a great story. And so now you're 2 years already in business. So how you are finding clients today, and how clients can find you? Do you have an e-commerce website? So please share a bit more about your business today.
So we have an e-commerce website that we built. It started with an online. Then as I started getting more familiar with how I could get more customers and how I could get my product out there, I was able to find these vendor places where people had small business, and we all kind of unite together and we bend together and at certain events. And that's how I was able to start putting myself out there, being okay. I'm a really shy person, but when you have, this was bigger than me. So I was like, all right, Nelly, your shyness is going to go away and you're going to put yourself out there. So we have certain events. With the whole COVID-19, it kind of hit us hard because everything just shut down. And it was like, okay, it doesn't matter. We could do this. We could still continue it. And it was more like in e-commerce and just our social media saying, hey, how we're going to put in product, contacted with makeup artists, actually building a PR team that they could show the product, that they could test the product, that they could talk about the product. So it's just building a little PR team, going out there for events, and actually marketing through the online. So those are the different branches that we have been able to work with Cali Wink.
Yeah, yeah. I saw that you are using Shopify, and you have Facebook and Instagram following.
Yeah, yeah.
Really amazing how you build like over 7,000 people who is already following. So for all people who are watching this interview, what will be the best way for them to learn more about your brand, and for what kind of occasion you think the Cali Wink is the best fit? Is that for daily occasion or for some online?
It's right now, since from here San Diego is opening back on. We're actually back, what I call it, little Cali Wink tour, because we do little tour stops. But Cali Wink is for everyone. Right now we started with lashes. I remember 12 styles. Right now, looking at my store, we have over 100 products. And I was like, oh my God, baby, like we have 100 products. We started from 12, so we are expanding. So it's basically when we go out there and we communicate, or my makeup artist communicate with me, hey, we should add this. Then we start formulating ideas, getting the best quality product out there, and basically telling my customer, I am a makeup brand or makeup shop, because I'm trying to put, but the difference between me and so is that you are getting a good quality product, but you're making a blessing to a family. You're giving back. So it's me. At first, I was really scared to tell my story, because that was, for me, it felt like, oh, that's me to keep. That's me. But the more I kept coming with people, they said, you know what, you need to share your story, because people need to know why you're doing it and why you're so different from the others. So now I have embraced the story and told the story. And every time I tell this story, I do get tears in my eyes. I get excited. And now going back to how I began and how everything literally started with a conversation with my father, literally me praying in the car and saying, God, give me an idea, to me putting on my makeup till now. It's been an amazing experience, a bumpy one with a lot of makeup smears sometimes, but because I want to give it up sometimes, because it's not easy. It doesn't matter what kind of small business owner, it's a 24-hour job if you want to make it work, and you have to get out there and network. I have made so many connections with other people. I have met other people, And every little business has their own story. And that's what's really neat about the connections that I have made, as I have grown into this little small journey. So that's how I've been targeting, and that's how I've been marketing Cali Wink. And I remember starting from zero. So having 7,000 followers right now, that means the world for me.
Yeah, that's
because
impressive.
because I started with zero.
Yeah,
I was no one, you
yeah.
know.
And it's dream of many women actually to have a beauty product brand, but not so many of them actually execute. And you execute so far fantastic, and congratulations for that. And we really appreciate that you are in our group and that you are sharing with us the story behind the brand, which is super powerful. And I invite all people, especially from California or from other states, that this is maybe a chance for you to participate not only for one more makeup brand, but also like to participate to give back to society, to the families. And this is a very good story, and I encourage you to support Nalleli and also have some fun. It looks pretty amazing. I take a look, and I think you will enjoy it too. So we will share the link so you can take a look. And Nelly, one more time, thank you for being a member, and we are looking forward to see how you're going to build your business in the upcoming years. And if you
Thank
need
you.
anything from the community, please let us know and share your stories with us, because it's pretty amazing what you do. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the time. I appreciate it.